Welcome to another All 22 Tuesday, a collaboration between FirstDown PlayBook and USA Football. I'm Keith Grabowski, the Director of Football Operations at USA Football, and joining us as they do each week is Charlie Coiner, CEO and founder of FirstDown PlayBook, former NFL coach. Charlie, great to be talking ball again on a Tuesday.
Keith, great to be here. Exciting week this past week, and a lot of football to talk about today.
Absolutely. And then we have Zach Dunn, who is our content coordinator and an analyst at USA Football. Zach, great to hear you again, and I'm excited to see the insight you offer today on some of these plays we're going over.
Can't wait, Keith.
All right, guys, so we're going to kick this off with a kick return, and this one comes from the Cleveland Browns. They used it to start the game, and it's a good example of how you can use, things that we normally do in space on kickoff. I think kick return is kind of gotten a bad rap, and I know a lot of people talking about how it might disappear, but I love plays like these. I love the timing of a kick return, and honestly, if you do it right, there doesn't have to be the old paradigm of these guys busting wedges and guys running forward like the flying wedge of old. Those things are illegal anymore, but we're talking about eliminating a play, which I think is just a beautiful play when done right. And you kind of see that here from the Browns as they get some double teams here, and they use a cross block to open up a lane for a really nice return to start the game.
Yeah, this was extremely well done by Cleveland to open the game up, and what you said there is exactly right. Whenever you take a play that's got so much space in it and you choreograph it to where it becomes a 11-person on 11-person play, then it is this thing of beauty. And I believe Cleveland probably thought that this ball was going to get kicked further over to their left. But Seattle did them a favor, and in my opinion, as an old special teams coach, even at this league, I've always thought that if you kick that ball in the middle, you're asking for it. And this ball was precariously kicked to the middle by Seattle. 25 took the ball right on the hash mark on the NFL level, and that might as well be the middle. And so, like you're saying, they knew that they had identified number 27, which is the R5 as Cleveland looks at it, and 44, which is the R4 as Cleveland looks at it, as probably the two best cover guys. And so they did an excellent job of double teaming that. And you point out something really important there, Keith, from the standpoint, there's no, it's just a good old fashioned double team. It's not anything dangerous or anything like that. It's just they did take those two guys out of the play and took them out up early or up the field. And so now the rest of it, as you'll see, you've got 20 and 12 giving you some crossing blocks right there. And they do a good job of kicking out R2 to Cleveland's right, and 20 comes back in, blocks L5. And then your off returners or your ends, whatever you want to call them back here, number 29 and 30, pick off whoever came through. It turned out to be the L2 on the right and the R3 the L2 on the left and the R3 on the right. But like you said, an excellent job. I will say this, if you'll look, there are 8 guys blocked here. They did not block the ones. The ones got up the field too far and couldn't fold back because the ball was in the middle, and the kicker is the kicker. So essentially a scheme that blocks 8 of them up. They didn't count for number 42 or 28 from Seattle because they didn't have to, and they didn't really have to count for number 5, and the ball almost went to the house. So let's take a look at it, Zach. So once again, I'm not sure, I know there are people that feel differently about the middle of the field than I do as a special teams coach and some other guys I work with, but always like to restrict the field on the kickoff if you can. And the people I saw doing that the best ever was when Urban was at Ohio State. Urban Meyer and his crowd did a great job of restricting that field. But as you can see right there, if you can run it back one time, Zach, essentially what you've got, you've got the middle of the field. I think that's what gets the ones in trouble. Freeze it right there. So if you're a 1 right now, and you can see where they're the fold players, they're back there on this side of the 30. to me, right now that becomes a pretty difficult job, because that ball, you look from the top of the numbers to the top of the numbers, that's where they've got to fill in there. They're not blocked, but you've got a hat on a hat of everybody else. And that, to me, that just makes it, you can say you're defending inside of the numbers right there, but there's nothing that says that ball can't bounce out here too. So let it run. I think you'll see just a big, huge hole right there. I mean, you got the kicker, and to his credit, he does get a hand on him. On a different day, that could have been to the house. And the end zone copy will show it even a little bit better here. Now freeze it, Zach, right as you get to the double teams. Right now. So you got double teams on Seattle's L4 and their L5 right there, which double team is the highest form of compliment in the NFL. If they're double teaming, that's a good player. But now the rest of it, like you said, the only really aggressive shot is on 25 right here, the 5 down the middle. And I think that's because the guy gets there a little late. But once again, he does a good job with that, of staying high. But look at that right there. How'd you like to be number 5 right about now? I mean, that's not a good look for you, because you actually have a Cleveland Brown jersey that could have turned up maybe inside. So that's like Keith said, a well done job by the Browns. And unfortunately for the Browns and for Keith, after that, it didn't go quite as well.
Yeah, Charlie, it ruined my Sunday. I'll tell you that. Charlie, a quick question for you on the double teams. I know I used a different scheme, and I learned it from Frank Novak from Green Bay.
Sure.
And he taught the technique of a post man and a closed man. Is that I'm not quite sure that I see that going on here, but I know there's a lot of different techniques you can use on these double teams. But there's definitely a scheme, a technique that goes along with those doubles.
Yeah, we used to teach post and pin, same thing, and I know Frank, and that's what Dave Tobe, who I worked with, and Bobby April talked, just post and pin. But I don't believe that's what they're using here at all either. I believe what they're doing is they are probably getting the inside guy has going to front the guy up, but I don't see the old, and I'm not sure what exactly the rules are about a post and pin anymore. This looks like just a hip-to-hip double team, making sure that you keep outside leverage on the guy. But you bring up a great point. These double teams are different, but they certainly are effective. I mean, you look at both of them right there, and one of the double teams drives their guy all the way almost over here to the numbers as we're looking at it, and the other guy's stalemated on the hash.
Yeah, and I want to point out here, I mentioned it as I introduced this, like, again, we have in our minds probably still a vision of what a kickoff is anymore. And the biggest hit on here is 25. And I mean, this is all upper body. This is hands to shoulder, getting a guy off balance. He's not necessarily like clobbering him, like days of old. There's not a lot of helmet to helmet contact in here. In fact, I don't see any. I really don't see guys bumping heads here. And, to me, all the talk has been, let's take it out and make the game safer by taking away this play. And, to me, like I said, choreographed and executed correctly. It is a safe play. Certainly there's a lot of high speed. It's a space play, but, it'd be a shame if we eliminate that from the game. I think it's just reframing and how we look at it and thinking about it differently than we have before.
And I think we already have. I think in the special teams guys I know at the NFL level and college level that really care about it, like you're talking about, Keith, and want to see the play stay. They want to see special teams remain a part of the game. I do too. I don't think it's football. I just think that's part of the natural flow of football. But they've all been advocates of the changes that have been made. No more 2- and 3-man wedges in the back with wedge busters. No more, people getting the running start that we used to on the kickoff. A lot of things to make this play safer. And yeah, I think that it's something special. It gives a lot of these guys right here that are on this field right now are preparing and staying alive with their careers too.
Yeah, that's right.
Till they can get on that 11 on the offense or defense. And an important part, you know, a lot of teams have gone a long way because of special teams. And I don't know, I'd hate to see it leave the game too.
Absolutely. Well, we'll move on to defense here and take a look at some things from the number one defense in the country, Wisconsin.
Yeah, the first defense that we've got here, and you know, we've talked a lot here, Keith, about the offenses running crossing routes and pick routes, and you know, the crossing route with the sit screens and whatnot. And I don't remember right offhand, but I think this might be second down and 12 or 17 or something like that. And once again, you know, Jimmy Leonard and the defensive staff at Wisconsin have done a great job to this point. And you got to believe that maybe what they knew was that this formation and the situation probably going to get that from Michigan State. So I thought it was just a great example, because we talk each week, you know, how are people going to stop the things that we see on offense? And I think defensive coaches do an excellent job of really scouting who we are. I'll say we, because most of my career was on offense too, and understanding in a down and distance, in the game, maybe the part where it is, what are they going to do? Are they going to take a shot down the field, or are they going to try to get back in the manageable down and distance? I think that's exactly what Wisconsin did right here. And the thing that I liked about it was, you can say it's a four-man rush if you like, but really once the double team was established, meaning that the center and the left guard on Michigan State were going to double team 92, he immediately saw that, made sure he held the double team long enough where they couldn't come off of it, and then dropped off to get a big, tall body right in the quarterback's vision for a crossing route. And then that also, you know, we've always seen three-man rushes at the end of a game get to the quarterback. Well, you end up, you've got one-on-ones on the outside. You can tell when you watch the video here, they were just containing 97, had a two-way go on 56, and ended up really just pushing 56 back into the pocket. 14 had to kind of pull the ball down because 92 had his big paw up in the air. And then, you know, behind it, once again, extremely well coached. You know, to me, it looked like they were dropping down and just playing, you know, man coverage with a hole, number 57, the linebacker in the hole right here. Once again, looking for crossing routes. You can see he looks it up, runs with it. But probably the most impressive thing to me was, as you watch number 17 come across on 4, as we look at it, and he sees 57 take the crossing route or the shallow cross, he actually drops back and becomes a whole player. And that's not easy to do, to me. You'll see it as we go here. I just think that it shows that they're very well coached.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point here, Charlie, about getting somebody big in that passing lane. You know, number 92 there, who gets doubled, he also allows, you know, for that guy to get singled up there. So while it looks like just your typical rush, you know, they're using and understanding exactly what they're trying to get done, as well as trying to understand maybe some of the things that offense does to take those things away. I continue to see these shallow crossers, even the shallow crosser with a pick play. And I could say, Charlie, as I was going through, you know, I've told both of you guys, I got so intrigued with what Wake Forest is doing, and we're going to talk about that on the Wednesday Trends Day podcast. But I saw finally somebody do it legally where they didn't run a guy across the ball on that shallow that's being picked for downfield. They actually ran him straight down the line. It's the first time I've seen it really run and 100% legally. But, you know, those plays are they're tough to defend, right? But now the defense starts to take that chalk away a little bit. And, all you got to do is mess the timing up a little bit, get in a window, just give that quarterback, a look that is cloudy, and now you have the advantage.
If you look at the route that Michigan State's running, it's the same route. I can't remember. We do this every week, but essentially what you're doing is you're taking your tight end up the middle, figuring somebody's going to carry that player, right? And then you're looking for some other people to come across and either provide a pick or a rub or whatever. So it's really the same concept that we've been looking at week in and week out with 3-by-1 or something like that. But watch number 17, I believe it is, down here, the corner as he starts across on the shallow cross. Watch how well he's coached that once 57 takes over, he just drops back and becomes the whole player.
Yeah, and it kind of looks funny when you see it on the diagram, but that's exactly what happens, right? That guy takes over and runs with the shallow crosser, and now you still have a whole player there, which is going to take away, a lot of teams like to either run that spot route in the middle or try to get somebody on a dig.
And we all know, we're all coaches, that doesn't happen by itself, right? They worked on that a lot to get this to happen right here. And so what that tells me is, a lot of different ways. One, you think, well, I'm going to get pressure on the quarterback, but just a different deal right here. You say, okay, really going to get to it with 3-man pressure. You know that the big guy with his hand in the middle is not worried about the quarterback run. I don't believe he's a great athlete, this quarterback from Michigan State. I don't know the Big Ten well enough, but to me, it looks like he's doing exactly that. Just doing whatever you can to, make him pause. And let's face it, if you run the shallow cross route, you have an opening in there, but if you take away the middle as the play progresses, it's out there too far now. You can't throw it. So I think that's what happens to him.
Let's go ahead and take a look at this next blitz, also from Wisconsin.
All right. Well, this is a blitz that I've seen quite a bit from Wisconsin over the past probably 6-7 years, because this is one that Wisconsin ran when Dave Aranda was the defense coordinator there. It's what he calls and what Winter now calls spike one rat. And what it is it's a 4-man pressure with an overload to one side, where the man responsible for the running back, so the linebacker responsible for the running back, can be a hug rusher. So if the back stays in protect, they will add on, so then it becomes a 5-man pressure. So it's a man pressure while you're also getting a low hole player still, which is why they like it so much. You can get that 5-man pressure while still getting a low hole player. Most time teams don't like 5-man pressures, because if you go 5-man pressure with cover 1, you lose a low hole player, and you're going to get killed on meshes and on slants and anything breaking inside towards the short middle of the field. So right here, they will coach number 41 right here, who has Peel written next to his name. He is a flare control rusher. Means he's going to outside contain rush, but he's actually scat control. So if 24 releases on a flare route or a wheel route or a hot route, now he is going to peel and take him man to man. 97 right here is a two-face. So he is from his alignment, which is a 4 or a 5. He is reading the center. He is trying to cross the face of the guard, and he's reading the center. If the center's away, he's coming off his butt. If the center's 2, he is crossing the center's face. 93 is the weak side contain here. So he's head up on the center, and what he's doing, he's aiming for the inside eye of the tackle, and he's trying to get contained on that side. And 56 right here is the low hole player. So away from the blitz call. So they like this blitz to the tight end. And if there's no tight end, so if it's true 2x2 doubles, then they like it to the running back. So the defensive end away from the call, away from the rush, he is the low hole player. So he is looking to cut they call it the short side first. So if you have a short split from, say, the tight end side, say the X to the tight end side has a short split, he's coming out hot and looking that side first. Well, in this one right here, there is no short split. So what he's doing is he's popping out and he's eyeballing the quarterback. Number 57 right here is the main rusher. So he is the called rusher. He is blitzing the B gap. if the guard goes away, he's coming off his butt now. But if the guard pops to him, he has a two-way rush on the guard. Well, in this instance, what you get is when 97 tries cross and face, the tackle goes down with him, so he comes off the tackle. And 57 is either he has a two-way go on the guard or he is still in the back. So say the back try to pick up number 57 right here, he's going to spill the back because 54 is a hug rusher and he's going to wrap around on the opposite side of the back. So that's the basis of the blitz. By design, it's a 4-man pressure, but turns into 5-man pressure if they keep the back in. Well, I mean, really, if they flare the back, it's going to be a 4-man pressure because say 24, the backer here flared on a wheel route, then 54 is going to become a rover. He's going to become an extra hole player right here like 56 is. And I'll go and go to the video. You can see a little bit better from the video.
What's interesting, what you said there too, Zach, is 56, as you described him, and I don't know the history of this pressure like you do, but the history, I look at 56 and I go, he's got to be just really a whole player. I mean, when he drops out, I mean, just from a fundamental coaching aspect right there, don't drop on air. I mean, who else you can see probably where this defense, everything's going to the right. And then you've got like 93, like you said, containing. Well, a lot of players would maybe drop to the middle of the field right there, right?
Yeah.
But I think he just does an excellent job and has obviously been coached very well. Just drop out, read the quarterback's eyes, but get up underneath the route of number 2, because the other thing I think a lot of people do poorly is the corners are both up. I probably don't have number 8 drawn quite as close as he needs to be right there, but they've got the corners up there close because they're expecting the ball out quickly. And that's exactly what happens to 14 here. That ball comes out, he never sees 56. And an excellent job by Wisconsin.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to the video now. All right, here's the video of it right here. And right here, you can see number 41, the defensive end, or what they would call the outside linebacker, either the F or the B. He's a flare control rusher, so you can see him right now. He's not really a full speed rusher. He's kind of a hesitant. Make sure this back is not gonna appeal right here. Well, you can see right here this linebacker to the call is looking to blitz the B gap. Tackle goes down, so he's coming hard. He's coming tight off that tackle's butt. So the opposite linebacker is responsible for the running back man-to-man. But right here, when he sees the running back protecting, now he's going to come tight off of the other linebacker. So what would happen here is say this left tackle would have fanned out to this defensive end. They would have had this backer to the blitz. So the backer blitzing would have come hard off the guard's butt, spilling the running back, who's probably going to try to pick him up. And they're going to have the linebacker responsible for the running back in man coverage come off of him on the opposite side of the running back. And now they got a 2-on-1 on the running back. But like you said, the hole dropper here sees, look, I mean, he's dropping now and just reading the quarterback's eyes. Really, it's a great pressure. I mean, like I said, it's a way to get a 5-man pressure while still getting a low hole player, because 41 is a rusher here, but not really. I mean, he has scat control, so he's not coming hot. He's not really trying to get after the quarterback here. He's more so just protecting on a flare or a hot route right here by the back.
It's 5-man pressure, but it's 4-man to the backside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you got one dude wrapping for contain to the offensive right, and yeah, you're right. It's only 5 men, but it's a whole lot of people over on the right-hand side wondering where people went. And
I know something that Leonard and Aranda and all those guys do so well is they design their blitz so well. So, like, each week, this is usually camp rules. This is from a 4-down front. This is from a over front. But, if they think they can get Michigan State to declare a protection by going odd or by going bare or such, they will do that, because then it's easier for them to get the one-on-one that they want. one thing I learned from Dave Aranda was, when it comes to blitzing and such, it's not always about breaking protection. It's about getting the one-on-one matchup you want. It's about, how do I get one of my best pass rushers against one of their worst pass rushers, which in this case is a back.
And back to what I was saying when we're looking at the diagram here, obviously a great play by 56. He gets underneath it and, he gets it stuck in his face mask essentially. But these corners, I see a lot of defenses and, you're forcing the throw. It's 3rd and 5. The ball's going to come out quick and they're lined up at 7 yards deep at corner. I mean, if you know the ball's going to come out quick and you're going to make it come out quick, just like this, you've got everybody up there to react to that. And obviously Jimmy played a lot in the NFL and all that. So
yeah, he's been great there, and he's obviously added a lot that he learned as a player under Rex, which Dave Aranda has a lot of Rex Ryan influence. It was a very easy kick carryover when Aranda left and went to LSU.
Well, Zach, that was a great explanation of Wisconsin's defense. Let's move over to the offensive side of the ball now. We're going to take a look at LSU from this past weekend, and a big game against Florida, and they certainly lived up to their expectations. We've been talking all season long about some of the different things that are happening with the tight end. You see so many programs now using the tight end off the ball, and it really gives you a lot of options for what you can do, and some different variations you can add to zone. We've certainly seen everything with 81 coming all the way across and blocking that backside end. But I really liked in having coordinated an offense where we used a lot of those guys. I really liked to have the ability to do a number of things. Number one, insert somebody wherever we wanted on our zone schemes. Number two, read anybody we wanted on our zone scheme. So it all starts with really having a system that's set up well to do that. And a lot really goes to your terminology and structure you create. And that's a clinic talk for another day, Charlie. We might have to get back on and do one of those in the off season. But what we have here is we have a zone play where we can get a combo here with 73 and 79 all the way to the outside linebacker. And that guy's a little bit, when you see the film, he's a little bit displaced from the combo here. So these guys have a little bit more time. When you have, a half a second or a second longer to stay on a combo because that guy's coming from farther away, you're at an advantage. And then what you have with 81 is he's able to get up and get a nice angle on that linebacker there, 54, to be able to create the running lane there. And honestly, key to this whole thing, probably one of the biggest blocks and best blocks you'll see is 58 alone on his solo. And now he does a good job of distorting that guy and really not allowing him to get back over the top here into the running lane. So his block is key as well. Let's take a look here at the video.
Do you think, before we do that real quick, Eric, Keith, do you think that, and once again, I love that you picked these plays out because it tied right into the Eagles stuff that we were doing last week. Like you said, is he going to be cracking? Is he going to be whamming? Is he backside cutoff? And as I got looking at it, and of course, we look at the TV copy quite a bit, and you hear the announcers, and 54 was getting beat up pretty good for not getting over the top on this one. And we're going to show another play where, you got beat up again. But as I'm watching the quarterback from LSU, and it just looked like to me he was just eyeballing that safety. And I'll yield to you guys who watch these RPOs all the time. I don't know if it looked like to me that they just put number 2 in a conflict of assignment on both of the 2 plays we're going to look at, and maybe all night on a couple of them. Just to where they had to be counting on getting him down the box, right? Because you've got 6 blockers on 6 if you don't. And it looked like to me he was the guy that was going to get down there. But if you look at both of the 2 plays we're going to show you, number 1 is kind of running like a lazy curl, lazy slant, lazy in, and the quarterback is staring down that safety. It's almost like, come on up there, big boy, we're going to throw that ball right behind your ear. But that, as I got looking at it more and more, that's kind of what jumped out at me, and you'll see it very plainly here on the end zone copy we've got of this play.
It's pretty interesting, Charlie, because we don't know exactly, what the assignment was, what he was coached to do. But when you start mixing in RPO and the quarterback can throw the ball, now just like we, talk about just like the old school seam read, move the free safety with your eyes and go to the other place. I mean, now if you're using your eyes, essentially that quarterback is moving that guy intentionally with his eyes, whether, he had the option to throw or not. He's able to move number 2 because it looks like there's intent there to throw to number 1.
No doubt. You'll see right here, this is great video because you're going to watch 9 and 2 lock eyes on both of these plays. So even from the wide copy, you can see that's got to be where they're going to get the 7th defender. I mean, he's flat-footed. And I don't know how from the end zone copy, you'll see it too. I don't know how that backer gets over there unless the safety comes down, right? I mean, I agree with what the announcer was saying. 51's got to get over the top of this, but you're going to have to fit it up depending on number 2 to get down there too. And he does, but that's pretty late.
Yeah, he does. He's looking at the sideline too. I don't know if that messes him up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grantham here was playing what he calls skate, which is 3 flood, where what they do is they bring that weak safety down and they put him in the B gap and they push the coverage stronger. The looks like playing skinny out here, which is Rip was on 1 and 2. It looks like they're accounting for that weak safety to get under the B gap. They're trying to sell too high pre-snap, but then I mean they're gapped out. I mean, like you guys said, I mean, yeah, they want 51 to get over the top, but okay, then what's he doing? I mean, there's still gonna be a gap short.
Watch Burrow here. Watch his body language.
Oh yeah, he's 100% reading that.
Yeah,
that's
like he said. If he ain't, he's got number 2 believing he is. So yeah. That's all that matters. I mean, look at the route over here by the X. It's almost like it's such a lazy route. It's like just go over there and make sure 2 sees you.
They want to hop on 51 for not getting over the top, but how about this 2I that's playing the backside A gap here who gets reached?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Keith made a good point about. That's the whole deal right there.
I mean, if he gets in that A gap, then
he screws the play up right away. Yeah.
I mean that's a heck of a job there by that guard though to actually root him out. I mean look at that flat back. That's a heck of a play with that guard. That's not easy.
Yeah, he's got a strain to make that block, and I think it's a good job. I mean, I always like, it's helped a little bit here by the movement. 73 gets this guy distorted right away, but if that guy were to play hard into 73, you have some time to get help there from 79 because there's a little bit of distance to where that linebacker is going. It's always a zone is not a zone. I would always look at, where can we get our combos to? And the farther away that guy had to come, the better. I know, like, I had an offensive line coach, and when we would see a true zero Mike, he would hate that for some of our combinations because you have to make that decision now, and it's bang bang. Who's getting off to that, and how much push you get, et cetera. So I think it's a well designed play here. And again, you see so many variations. You'll see 81 blocking out. You'll see him coming across, and so many things you can do with that guy off the ball that really makes the defense account for how he's being utilized.
And once again, we said this last week, we sit here and we dissect the play and beat it up pretty good. So before the ball snapped right here, Zach, hold on. Right now, picture this being an inside zone to the right, because that's what you're about to see. You're about to see the same formation flipped and an inside zone play going to the open inside. And now 2 does have to show up. And guess what? I mean, it's really the same formation. And Burroughs does the same thing, staring down the same weak side safety. So, I mean, it's a situation where we get the luxury of running it back and forth. 51 gets to see this thing in practice, and Yeah, you better dissect what's going on here in a hurry.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that next play.
I was going to say one more thing, Keith.
Yeah, sorry. Hold on. Let's pause it right there so she can cut it. All right, go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, one thing that's always stuck with me that Urban Meyer said years back was that, coaching gets you to the first level, but then recruiting gets you past the second level. Then watch this back right here. I mean, that right there is called recruiting right there. I mean, they schemed up the first level, but then it goes 70 yards because that's a 5-star running back.
Let's go ahead and look at our last play for the week. And as Charlie mentioned, we got an inside zone play. We flipped the formation. We got the inside zone play now away from that Y who is off the ball, away from number 81. And, again, another variation and things you can do. Again, same kind of things you're seeing in the box. We have number 2 coming down, 31 rolling in the middle of the field. And a well-executed play here.
Yeah, and you look at 54, he's caught right in that, look at the last play we ran where 81 came in motion and, field inside on him. Well, this time the ball snapped, and now they're going to be on him for not getting out here, getting over here to the left in the B gap. And then once again, it looks like to me that, 1 is just running a route to get in 2's vision, and 9, Burrows is definitely staring down his weak side safety. So once again, we're fortunate to have some pretty good end zone copy of this too.
Yeah, one thing I look at though on this diagram is, if you're playing too high against when they got 6 blockers, you're gonna have to steal a gap somewhere, because it looks like when you'll see on the video, it looks like they're playing 2-man. I'm thinking, okay, you got 6 guys in the box and you got 7 gaps. You got to steal a gap somewhere, and I don't know where they plan on doing that.
Well, that's why obviously Todd Grantham is one of the, if not the best defensive coordinator in college football, and you know that there was a plan to get this guy down here somehow.
Yeah.
And watch the route that X runs. It's almost like it's kind of half route, half block. It's almost just like I don't know.
What's kind of funny is, he's running like a 5-step glance post right there, but almost turns into like the old zone block, push up crack.
Yeah,
that's really what it turned into. It was a lazy route to turn into a decent block, because the guys.
One gets his buddy picked. And you can see them talking to each other after the play. But yeah, I mean this once again, the end zone copy does a really good job of showing Burrows just staring down 2 again. And then, of course, they're going to beat Mike Backer up. Again.
Yeah, but I'm looking at that thing, okay, he's playing his A gap.
Right.
What do you have to do there? He can't play A gap and a weak side B gap.
The last time he got over the top, the tight end, and I get it, there's a little difference. You got to be able to recognize the motion, but 81 filled up on him and he got in trouble the other way. So, they got him in a little bind. And once again, number 2, I'm not sure if they're telling him to be flat-footed to take away the RPO or not, but you got to get involved here, because like Zach's saying, there's just not enough dudes in there right now.
Yeah. Yeah, LSU's doing a great job this year with their offense, man. They might be one of the best offenses in the country this year, which is a huge difference in the past decade.
Yep.
Well, guys, another good job from you on offense, defense, and special teams here. And it's good to see, the different variations we've been able to see throughout the season and different plays. And, we've been talking so long about some of that shallow stuff, and we come back and see some different ways that it's defended. And, it's fun to be able to sit down and watch this stuff. And certainly, like you said, Charlie, we have the luxury of sitting back, after game day and drawing all these things up. But all this really comes down to execution, and it starts with a sound understanding. And I think that's something you guys have been able to do a great job of really the starting point for that. You and I talked a long time ago, Charlie, about the diagram really is the starting point for all the things you need to teach. And that's what you guys are doing over at FirstDown PlayBook.
Yeah, and back to what we do here on Tuesdays and to some degree on Wednesdays with the, it may seem like we're taking plays, today we took 5 plays and beat them up ad nauseum, right? But I think the mission of what we try to do here, there's an entertainment value. These are some of the best athletes in the world right here playing the best game in the world. But at the same time, the reason that we diagram them up on FirstDown PlayBook and we get the video and is because we think that virtually every play that we talked about today, regardless if you're coaching, middle school or JV or high school, or, these plays are applicable to what you're doing. And I guarantee you better have, gap responsibility like what we're looking at here. So yeah, we're trying to entertain a little bit. We're trying to pick plays that will help, from an educational standpoint. And yeah, from the diagram part of it, we think we do it better than anybody out there, and we can be found at FirstDownPlaybook.com. FirstDown, spell it out, playbook.com.
And check out all we're doing over at USA Football on blogs.usafootball.com. We have the podcast, coaching coordinator podcast now in an in-season format. And so we're focusing on trends. We call it Trends Day every Wednesday throughout the season, where we're taking a look at what we're seeing consistently from teams across all levels of football. So we'll have an interesting one tomorrow on some things that I don't know if it's a trend, but some of the most innovative stuff I've seen this year from Wake Forest, and as well as a couple other things that we've been trending on throughout the season. So check that out again over at blogs.usafootball.com.